person that peeks out from his eyes. I thought I was someone, and now I'm not sure. My violent and angry, or gentle and pure. I search this reflection for a hint or some signs. Will it sprout forth from anger or laughter these lines? Is it kindness this glance, or 1,000-yard stare, or caught in my own trap of the narcissist glare? I met the devil in a land far away. Showed me his game and said, come where you play. The rules and the right way. We discussed it for hours. Then I danced in the sunrise with the beast that devours. Tell me the secret of this life that I live. Is it hate and distraction, or to love and forgive? Contradicting feelings that tear me apart. I'm embarked on a journey and end at the start. We're on this adventure, this mystery called life. Does my route lead to happiness, or to die by the night? I see gods, I see demons as I look to the skies. All that's a reflection of beneath these brown eyes. I met the devil in a land far away. Showed me his game and said, come where you play. The rules and the right way. We discussed it for hours. Then I danced in the sunrise with the beast that devours. With all your lessons, trekking back across your land. Through fire and ice, where gouging wars on mountain ridges stand. I ask of you a favor that we can meet again someday. Your voice still ringing in my ears. Always, always, always. Sunrise with the beast. I met the devil in a land far away. Showed me his game and said, come where you play. The rules and the right way. We discussed it for hours. Then I danced in the sunrise with the beast that devours.
I remember going down inside the bushes. There was loads of bushes, and they would come up the fairway and we would hide in the bushes, and then we would run out, and when the drum was coming and these guys would come down there, we'd run out and scalp them with bricks. And I remember like scalping a guy with a brick, and he just turned around with a big machete and he starts roaring at us, and we're trying to get through these bushes and this guy's chasing after us with a fucking machete.
The Bad Guru live show. Can you talk me through that?
I talk through the 12 choices for life, and I also sing songs. And in the live shows I bring people up, I bring guests. And one of the reasons was because I wanted to show people the difference, the transformation you can have by mastering public speaking.
So take me into your retreats, because I know they're very special.
How was your experience?
The second experience, the most recent one. I came to you and I says, look, I've got these things going on. No, because years ago I would block them out. With alcohol, drugs, chaotic behaviour myself. How do I get rid of these feelings? And he says to him, come on the retreat. This is what we do. He told me it was all in my mind. My mind creates everything. So it gave me the answers. It showed me the way, good and bad. It's life-changing. Totally transformed my whole outlook on everything. the bad guru himself, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for getting me back.
It's a great honour to have you in the studio, as always. A massive character. Our first episode was such a blockbuster that it premiered in the cinema on the famous cobbles of Ashton Lane in Glasgow's West End. So before we go into this story, can you talk me through that?
I just thought it was such a, when we watched it back, when I seen the creation and how powerful it was, I thought, why not put it in the cinema and show it there? And then we got everybody that was involved, all the people in the story. Oh, Wong was there, Andy, the boy I had the football club with in Cyprus, loads. All the people that's part of the story, they all came and they got to hear them being talked about on the screen. It was brilliant, everybody loved it. All the girls all dressed up with dresses and looking, everybody. When I was talking to some of the girls during the day, they'd put time off work and they were away getting makeup done, nails done, hair done and new outfits, and everybody just looked tip top. It was so good.
It was so amazing to see yourself up on the screen in the cinema, and then for all the people to come and enjoy it and watch the live show, because it was the week before it went live on YouTube. But it was so special. My family was there, I had lots of close friends, and everybody that arrived and left said they left with something special, because it's such a powerful episode. It wasn't just about your life, the chaos before, it was the wisdom that you bring now. And to see that on the big screen, it really cemented that episode and where it deserved to be, I believe. You also performed your new single, The Devil's Road, live in the Armadillo with the wonderful April. Can you talk me through that?
April was doing a production and I was just getting through the album. And she'd said to us, let me hear your album, let me hear the album. And she was asking me what the songs were. And I said, I'm just finishing The Devil's Road. And she said, send me. So I'd sent her all the songs, and then when I finished The Devil's Road, she just said, I've already started making up a dance for this and I've not even heard it yet. And then when she heard it, she just said, everybody, all the dancers loved it. Everybody in the dance school loved it. And then I got to perform it on the stage for her. It was brilliant, such a laugh.
Such a massive audience, a massive arena, the Armadillo. And when I spoke to April before it, she says, I had a vision that I was going to perform my 10-year anniversary in here for April Street Feet. And such a professional, probably the best dance group in the country, in my opinion, and from the ratings that she gets. But even on the way up to the Armadillo, I came along with my friend Ashley, and when we arrived, it was like VIP treatment. We got to the door and someone shouted, Jim King! And I was a wee bit embarrassed. And they says, there's your envelope, your tickets. Right in, right away, right at the front row. And it was spectacular. But to see you performing there with the kids and April, it really is, it's fascinating. These people have so much talent, even all the way down to kids aged 5 and upwards. So professional.
Actually, one of her dancers, I think Calvin's about 19 or 20, and he just got accepted into the royal family. It's a dance group from New Zealand, and him and April were in Rome there. They're still in Rome. I think they fly back today. They were FaceTiming me last night and telling me that Calvin got in and they got into the royal family. So now he has to fly to New Zealand, and this is going to change the young guy's life. And that's him. He's going to live in New Zealand and he's going on a world tour, going to Shanghai, Dubai, all these places. And just because he went to April's dance school and she's just taught him, she's an unbelievable teacher, and then she's got unbelievable students. And that's how they're world champions. They're just exceptional. They go and dance in LA, they get asked to perform. I think it was for the Dallas Cowboys. They get asked to go and perform there. Well, they're just unbelievable, and the shows, the productions that they put on. She's like Andrew Lloyd Webber. That's who that I just think of when I see her and I see the productions that she creates. It's like Andrew Lloyd Webber. And every single person that was at the Armadillo, they just went with a smile on their face and just think, this is unbelievable that somebody, just for a local person, can create this. And this is what I love, to be involved with local people that are just unbelievable creators. Because that's it, everybody's got the potential in life to create, but not a lot of people do it. and she makes it look easy. And I think she's opening up her own college as well. So a lot of her students go to England, go to London, go to Leicester, Manchester, and that to go to dance schools to further on, and she's going to create her own college and university up here so that the dancers stay up here. And then they teach other dancers and make them exceptional. Young kids, young people go to travel the world and get involved in what they love. So that's amazing. It's amazing to know April.
She's got she is a star. She's got such a talent and such an amazing story throughout her own journey. I know she'd been on the big shows, Britain's Got Talent final, I'm sure, when I do get to speak to her, because I know she's coming to do her own story here very soon, hopefully. So she's performed in all these different shows, but she also, I'm sure she was the dancer for Britney Spears as well at one point in LA. So that paints its own story. But this story, it's more about the now and the present and the wisdom that you now bring from the chaos that we revealed in the first episode. But before we move into, like I said, the present time, it's the way you tell these stories. So I've promised the audience, they're saying, can you get them to tell more stories? I says, well, I'll ask them. So we're really wanting to take you back to like your childhood. Some stories that stand out for me is like when you started getting involved in the gangs, the gang fighting. Is there any memories that stand out in that?
The first ever gang fight I ever had, I think I was about 7 or 8. And in all the streets, it was tenements, so it was all closes. So maybe, I don't know, 10 closes on each side of the street. So there's tons and tons of children. And in our street, you'd play football, play golf, and play different games. But everybody wanted to be tough as well. And the older guys, they would set up the garages. And then when we were younger and we'd be playing football, they would have, say, a bottle of Iron Brew. You're a wee guy, you don't get Iron Brew. And they would say, I'll give you a drink of Iron Brew if you fight each other. And there was a few years just hanging about, and I would say, no, I don't want to fight my mates. And they would go, no, I want to drink Iron Brew, I'll fight you. And I would say, I don't want to fight, because I could fight. Oh, I just punch them in the face, and that was it. And nobody likes getting punched in the face. So I could fight all the boys in my street at the same age as me. So the big ones, they were saying we're going to fight the Longmuir, and Longmuir was the street above us. And we used to go up the backs, and you'd see them, they'd hang about up there. They didn't really hang about the streets, didn't they? They didn't hang about each other. They hung about in their street, we hung about in their street, and then the other streets across, they would all hang about as well. And they would have their best fighter. And the best fighter up in Longmuir's this big guy. He's a massive boy with ginger hair. His name is James Curry. James Curry was this guy, and he was up there, and the big ones in our street would say, right, you can fight, you're a game, you come up and you fight with us. I said, all right, and this is a big honour. You go over the big ones and you're going up the backs and you'd hear about them fighting. So I said, what do you want me to do? And they said, well, they're going to have weapons, so you need to get a stick, and we fight them with sticks. Sound. When we used to go up to the hills over the backs, there was like these tall stems that grew, little whips, but it's a stick to us when you're only a wee guy, and if I whipped my mate, they'd be screaming. So I'm thinking, I'll get one of these, so this big whip thing, and I'm up the backs, and all the boys are there, and they've all got bigger sticks than me, and I'm looking, thinking, fuck, I get a big stick here, I better. But this is the only thing I had. And these guys are up the backs, and they're coming over the fence and coming down the grass, and there's a grass there, we've got the backs, and then there's this grass, it's no man's land, from our street to their street, where the washing greens and that are, and then there's this no man's land, and they're saying, right, you ready? So I get this wee stick, this whip, and all the boys go up, and next thing these guys just jump over the fences and they come running down. So I run up, and there's this big massive guy, he's double the size of me, this boy James Curry, and I remember running up, it's in slow motion, and they're coming down, and there's loads of them, but he's just coming straight towards me, and I'm the weeest there, and all these other boys are bigger, but I'm the tiniest wee guy there. And I just think, you can't run away, because the big one said, you better no fucking run, you stay here and you go ahead. So I think, fuck, can't I run? I was choking to run, I was just thinking, I just want to bolt here. But I run up, and he's coming down, and I swing this whip thing, and he's swinging his stick, and the whip just hits off his arm. But I remember just in slow motion, and I was just looking up, and he's just got this stick, and he's just coming down. And I remember I even knew where he'd got the stick when it was coming down towards me. I'm thinking, that's half of that fence. You know, the metal fences, and they were twisted, and then you get these sticks that go through it. And I just remember, and I could see the grain and see the knot, and I'm just looking there and just thump. And then I just came to, and I remember I was crying. And there's grass down here, so I just hit the deck, and there's grass. I can just see my eyes through the grass, and I can just feel this throbbing pain in there. And I'm just lying there, and I just see him running down the backs and just battering everybody over the head with a stick. That was my first ever gang fight. I went up the stairs with a big egg on the front of my head. My mum was saying, "What are you doing?" I said, "I was fighting up the back." She said, "You know, to go and fight up the back, you stayed in the front." But then the next week there was another fight, and the lumpwood went down in my head, and then I got a big stick this time, and I never ran towards him. I ran towards a smaller one, and I was chasing the rest of them up the backs, battering them with this big stick. That was my first ever gang fight. And then after that, because I would fight the other streets with this gang, with the gang in my street, but then the Faithfully would then fight Drumchapel, and Drumchapel would come for there, and they would come up there Hargate Golf Course, and we were maybe about 5 or 6 streets back, and the older ones, then everybody would join up, so all the streets, they would leave aside the fights that they've got with each other, and everybody would go down and fight the drum at the golf course. And then I was allowed to come down because I would fight with them, and they would say, "No, you guys get him, let him come down." And I remember down at the golf course, and there was all these big guys, but they'd come with machetes, they'd come with knives and all that, and I think, what the fuck's happening here? But I remember going down inside the bushes. There was loads of bushes, and they would come up the fairway, and me and my boys a bit older than me, we would get bricks, and we would hide in the bushes, and then we would run out. And when the drum was coming and these guys would come down there, we'd run out and scalp them with bricks. And I remember scalping a guy with a brick, and he just turned around with a big machete, and he starts running at us, and we're trying to get through these bushes, and this guy's chasing after us with a fucking machete. Scrambling our way up and running. And then there's a wee path, and then by the time they're coming up the path, then all the other big guys faithfully are then coming down the path. But it's brilliant, some buzz. But loads of times I nearly been hurt with machetes and chased with knives and all sorts since when I was a wee kid.
It's so crazy at that age. These are the things it's normalised in these societies, and especially around about Glasgow and the surrounding areas. You also met the guy in one of the stories. It was at one of your live shows. What was his nickname again? This
is the guy, James Curry.
Right.
When I done a show in SWG3, and at the shows I do talks in charities, men's mental health charities, so I do talks in Men Matters, I do talks in different places, and I run the programme in the community as well. And I'd done the show for SWG3, and there's some charities, I think alternatives, like a drug charity, Men Matters, and there was a couple other ones, and I gave them tables there. There's loads of people's going to come, and it's a bit of a taboo for people, and they're scared, they don't want to admit that there's something wrong with them. But if they're there and there's a table there and there's people just talking, then it's just a talk. It's not as if you have to go into the place. And when I came down, I told that story there in the first half of the show, and then at half time in the show, all the people were in and they were getting drinks, and there was other people performing on the other side of SWG3 on another stage. And when I walked out, I just looked and I seen this guy, James Curry, at the table. I said, "Mate, I just told the stories. I was telling them this, that it was me that done that to you when you're a wee guy." He said, "No one believe me." I said, "I remember that, I'll never forget that." And he was there, standing there when I'd done the show. It's so crazy.
It's synchronicities.
Definitely.
But it's so powerful. But I won't drag you back into too many stories in the past. As we know, you've already told these stories. And before we move on, a lot of people were messaging me, people from all over the world. One guy that stands out is Ryan Mack. He's got his own jungle show in Indonesia, Bill Balang, I'll give him a shout out. He messaged me and he says, this guy, the bad guru, he's so fascinating, but I'm finding it hard to believe these stories. I says, well, what do you want to know? And he says, I've actually messaged my family who are from Clydebank. I'm just waiting on a message back. And then he got his message and they says to him, aye, that's Paul Tate. And then they confirmed that most of these stories are watered down. They're true. But if we were to tell the real truth, it would be more chaos. So these people watching this, because they're so fascinated by it, and then I get messages from people I don't even know. I'm sure some of the messages will flag up on the screen as I'm talking. Guys that are sending me a private message, and it's hard to get through them all. And they're asking me, do you fact check these stories with your guests? And I says, of course I do. It's part of my job. It's like an investigative journalist. It's all about true, real life stories. So I'm not going to have anybody telling lies, and energy doesn't lie. So when I sent the message back, you know, and they're saying these guys, they sit in the pub and they talk about this and they're asking about it. So it's gone mad. And like I said at the start of the episode, it was such a blockbuster, the first show you done. But it's the most viewed, you're the most viewed guest over all platforms, having millions and millions of views, as I say, worldwide. And people like Ryan Mack asking questions, who is this guy? And I says, he's mysterious. You know, you need to speak to him yourself. I can't speak for him. But there's loads to get through. And I'll try and keep it in the wisdom of the present time. So take me into your retreats, because I know they're very special, as I've experienced again.
Why don't you? It's your fans, it's your followers. Why don't you tell them about the retreat? Well, how did you experience it? How was it? It's all right me to tell you, oh, this will happen, that happen, you change your life, but you've done it. You've done it twice. No? How was your experience?
So, the second experience, the most recent one, that we done just last week. I came to you and I says, look, I says, I've got these things going on in my private life, which I won't obviously disclose at the moment. And I'm really struggling with certain things, letting go of these things that haunt me, the past. You're tied to them. And it was very troubling, you know, because years ago, I would block them out with alcohol, drugs, chaotic behaviour myself, just creating more trauma. So I'm saying to you, how do I get rid of these feelings? And he says to him, come on the retreat. This is what we do. He told me it was all in my mind. My mind creates everything. And when I got there, he says to me, set your intention. Set your intention. What do you want? What do you need to take away from this? And I set my intention. And I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared for what it was about to give me. So it gave me the answers. It showed me the way, good and bad. And it gave me it showed me the direction that I was going. So it's gave me the new, in a new way, it's took away they thoughts, because that's all they were. It was just thoughts that never mattered, thoughts that were lingering within inside me, and now they're gone forever. And it feels so liberated. I feel light. I feel like it's a new chapter in my life. And I don't want to get too emotional, because I want to tell this story when I'm telling my own story, which we'll get into later on. But for anybody that needs change in their life, come and see the Bad Guru and his team. There's so many options there, but when you get to a level of the retreat side of things, it's life-changing. Totally transformed my whole outlook on everything. And I feel so positive. I feel so liberated. I feel like calm. I feel just, everything's just perfect. Everything's the way it's supposed to be. Even us sitting here in this moment, it's all supposed to be this way. I've seen everything. And thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You really gave me
clarity
the
and peace. This is what you were looking for. And when you're talking about that's all in your mind, this is the first universal law. The universe is mental. The all is mind. So everything that you create and you experience, it comes from here. Well, if your mind's in where you put energy, then that's what you get back. And if you're putting energy into anger and resentment and fear, then this is what your experience is going to be. But if now you can switch it, you get peace and clarity and acceptance and no judgment. You know what I love about you? I remember after the first show and you were saying to me, all these people were saying this and that's bullshit and this is nonsense. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not trying to convince anybody anything. But because of who you are, you said, and we used to meet at the Hilton and we would go there and you said, why don't I come to your bit? And why don't we do it down there? And I said, perfect. And you came and you done the more investigating and you started seeing you always speaking to all the people running about. And I love that because You're doing your job. You're doing your job for your fans and for your followers to make sure that this isn't nonsense and somebody isn't pulling the wool out of your eyes. And then you take action. And this is the most important thing in life, is to take action. If you're not happy with what you've got, take action. It's another universal law, the law of cause and effect. Well, every effect has its cause, every cause has its effect. If you want a different effect, well, make a different decision. And then the cause is different, therefore the effect is different. And look at you, you're having this pain and suffering inside your mind. Say, come here, set this intention, create something different, and that's it. And you create something different, your experience is different, and you can find peace, you can find clarity no matter what. I found peace, clarity, happiness, acceptance, joy, where I had so much anger and resentment and fear, so much fear. And fears they're a construct of the mind, that's not real, it's not true. It's just a construct of the mind, and one courageous step towards a fear, they disappear. Fears are tissue paper thin. As soon as you take one step towards it, you think, what was that? And behind your fears, all your power and all your dreams lie behind your fears. Because think the power that the fear has over you. If you're scared to go and do something, well, that's got power over you. And why do you give your power away to anything? I take my power back for every single person, every single situation. Take it back. As if I feel fear towards something, I think, what is this that's got a hold over me? What's this got control over me? And then I just step towards it, take the power back and say, this is mine. It's not anybody else's. And you give your power away to people. When you care about what people think about you, you're giving them your power. Why? Why? People are always going to think what they're going to think. You can't change their mind. You cannot change somebody's mind. You cannot change them as a person. You cannot make anybody happy. Never in your life you can't. If somebody is unhappy, how can you make them happy? No matter what you do, they're always going to be unhappy because they're unhappy in there. This is what's going on inside them. The only thing you can do is be there for the person and live your own life. Don't live your life for anybody else, because it's a life lived in vain. Only a waste in your life if you're trying to make anybody happy. A waste in your life.
It's so powerful. As I did go round Clydebank, Dalmuir, and meeting the people, and it's mad because I try and do it in a way where it doesn't look like I'm going behind people's backs, but I'm just getting the stories off the people. And they're saying to me, oh my God, I watched it. No, he never told this story, he never told that story. I says, well, that wouldn't be allowed, that story. So it is part of your job, but it becomes like, it's a natural response because you get to know the person, you get to know the people that he surrounds himself with. You can see the people's faces light up when we get into places. It's incredible. We were walking down the street, there's people beating the horn in cars, shouting, all right, Paul, all right, Jim. I'm saying, who's that? I don't know.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is crazy. People coming up wanting photographs. They're asking when's the part 2. And here we are filming it. But it's so fascinating because somebody also said to me, that guy's story is like a movie. It's a movie. And I says, well, it's funny you say that. I said, because there was a film maker from America over in Clydebank following you about. Can you talk me through that?
A guy contacted us through a friend I've got in Thailand, and he said to my mate, I've heard these stories about this guy, the bad guru. And he said, and then he's seen the podcast as well. And he said to my mate, look, can you set a meeting up with this guy? I need to go and meet this guy. I want to make a film about this guy. And he contacted us and I said, aye, come. And I just let him stay with me. So the guy stayed with us, stayed in my house with us for a week and just followed me about everywhere and just asking people and talking to people about the stories. And the same as you. Oh, he was just saying to me, can I go and speak to these people? And I said, aye, do whatever you want. I don't care. And then he came back and he messages and he just said, look, I spoke to the funders and everybody else when he went away, done his report on the story, and he just said, we want to make a film, Bad Guru, the Paul Tate story. I said, fine. We're busy and we've got loads of other stuff to do, but I definitely will sit down and he's going to create much the same as what you create, show me a story and show me what they're going to do. But if it tells the story and it helps anybody and it gets the programme, the most important thing in me is to get the program it, because anybody that does this program, it just transforms their life. Well, you've done it, you've seen it.
Take me into the program then, where it's available and how people can make it part of their lives.
We'll release it now. It's completed, and all the pictures we'd done it, and we were tweaking it a wee bit, and then there was loads of pictures in it, but they were just standard pictures being taken off the internet. And me and Will, the cameraman that follows us around, and we take pictures. He actually taught me photography, and I've started taking loads of pictures myself. And I thought, why don't we put the pictures that me and Will's taken, and then we can, then people, if they want prints, but you should see the pictures that's in this, and this was just the cherry on the top of the cake. You know, the program's life-changing. We actually have a doctor, a Russian doctor, a psychologist. And that's so crazy, because I met this psychologist, and I'd just written the program, and I was in Thailand last year, and I started teaching the program. I was working with this Chinese doctor. I'm studying Chinese medicine. So when I was in the practice, when the people would come in and they were there to see the doctor, and I would sit with them, but there's a queue of people, and I would sit and I would read everybody's bodies, see them the way they were sitting, and could see, reading everything, the different things in their face and their body. And I would say to them, I've got this program, and I would say, sit back, breathe into your stomach, and I would take them through the breathing process, and I would tell them about high five and the mirror and everything else. And one day there was a lady, and her husband came, and the doctor phoned me, and usually I'm off on Sunday, and he said, or a Saturday and Sunday, and he said to me, "You're in this weekend?" I said, "Oh man, I'm off." And he said, No, you've got a patient." I said, "I've not got any patients, you're the doctor." He said, "You remember the Australian man and lady that came?" He said, "And I treated the husband." He said, "The wife asked for you." She said, "Is the guy the bad guru there and teaching the program? I've been doing the program, and I want to speak to him, and this has happened and that's happened." And then I met this on the beach one night. I was talking to a Russian girl, and then another lady came over, and I was talking to them. One of them's a physiotherapist, and the other one, I said, "What do you do?" And she said, "I'm a doctor." I said, "Doctor of what?" And she said, "Doctor of psychology." I said, "Oh, brilliant." I said, "I've wrote the programme that's going to cure the mental health crisis in the West." And she started laughing. So I said, "Why are you laughing?" She said, "You have written the programme that's going to cure the mental health epidemic in the West." I said, "Aye." And she said, "Are you a doctor?" I said, "No." She said, "Are you a psychologist?" I said, "No." She said, "How can you write it?" I said, "Why not?" And I said, "Why don't I tell you the programme and then you can make the decision?" She said, "Right, okay, tell me the programme." So standing there on the beach and talking her through this programme. And at the end, when I finished, I said, "So do you believe me now?" And she said, "No." I said, "But I've explained the programme." And she said, "It's a big, big claim. Do you realise how big this claim is, that you have written the programme that's going to cure the mental? Who do you think you are?" And I said, "So you don't believe me?" And she said, "No." I said, "Well, why don't you prove me wrong?" I said, "Why don't you do the programme? You're on holiday. Why don't you do it and do it every day and see how it goes?" She said, "Okay, I will." And I sent the programme to the other girl, and she'd forwarded it to this doctor. And then 10 days later, I looked at my phone and I had this message saying, "Hi Paul, I met you on the beach a few weeks ago. Could I meet you for a coffee?" And she said it was Dr. Minuk. Her name's Dr. Minuk. And I said, yeah, I'll meet you for a coffee. And I went and met her for a coffee. She said, "My life has completely transformed since I done this programme." And that was only 10 days. She's a psychologist. She said, "I didn't realise what this programme could do." And she'd been doing it through the summer and working with patients. And she just said the results are out of this world. And now she's going to run the programme. She's on Instagram, on Telegram, and she's converting. This is the first, we're translating the programme into Russian. She's going to proofread it because she wants it in Russian. But we have the books being printed now, so it's like a workbook. You work through it, and bits for journaling, bits for everything for you to do in the programme. But this transforms people's lives. You know, anybody you've met that's done this, their life's transformed. It's crazy. It's 12 simple choices.
As you said, they're simple.
Oh, simple.
But simple things that people don't do. And if you do it, in your words, religiously, every day, then your life will totally transform. It's like the laws of the universe.
Yep.
You're following them every day. And I feel like, as I said earlier, when I do come back to tell my own story, you will be interviewing me live on the show. I'm sure we can reveal that now. And I'll be telling the story like I've never told before, from the start to the finish. And it'll be so powerful and so emotional. But by then I can show the great results that this programme has had on myself. Not just, like I said, the benefits of the retreat, because you could go a retreat and then you could go back to your old ways again, and then you could go back into that way of thinking. But if you go on a retreat and then you've got a programme there to follow, your life just continues getting better and better and better. And it's mad because we create everything. Our thoughts create everything. All these negative thoughts creating these negative things in your life. And it's the exact same positive thinking, creating positive outcomes. You attract it. So you attract what you are. These are the things that I've been learning from meeting the right people, as I say, and becoming good friends with yourself and meeting all the people that you're involved with. It's life-changing. And to see the transformation in you is incredible, because people say to me, that's not the same guy. That's the only guy I know. This is the bad guru. But it's so powerful. But moving on in the story, I know you're also a very talented singer. You write your own music, got many talents. But there's 3 songs in your album that stand out to me. And I've always wanted to ask you, but I want to ask you now. The lyrics behind each song. So there's 3 songs that stand out is Wedding Cake, Living a Lie, and The Devil's Road. Can you talk me through Wedding Cake first?
Wedding Cake, I wrote this as a poem. When I was going through this, probably about 5 years ago, when I was just going through this change and had the old crazy, chaotic life that I was leaving behind, but it takes a long time to change. And I remember just such tough nights and voices inside your mind, and the voices telling you you're not good enough and you hate yourself and you're a horrible person. And I just started writing a poem, and I was just lying there, and it took me a while. It took me a couple of weeks, I think, to write that poem, and then that was what got changed into the song. But it's about pain, and then it's about understanding that everything's a process. The toughest situations in your life, when you look back on them, they're the best, because that's where it's in the midst of your discomfort. So I love make myself uncomfortable, because it's in the midst of your discomfort that you find the strength to overcome, the resilience to endure, and the wisdom to transform. And people don't like being uncomfortable. They don't know, I just want to be nice, I want this temperature. And think the extents that people go to in their life. You think in the morning, if you're an average guy, you wake up, you're in your house and it's 20 degrees, turn the heating on. If you're cold, you get in a hot shower, come back out, put your clothes on, get your breakfast, and you go for there and you go into your car, you have 21 degrees in the car. So you drive to your work. If you work in an office, and you go for the car to the office and it's 21 degrees or whatever, and you go for the office to the car, back to the car, and that, drive home and back into the house, and then sit there and watch TV, and without any discomfort. If it's raining, you're hiding for the rain. When I see it raining and blowing a gale, I go out for a run. I walked in the Clyde. But it is in the midst of your discomfort that you find this, so embrace your discomfort, make yourself uncomfortable, because it's in the uncomfortable moments that you realise who you are. And you get the strength, and the toughest situations give you the best results.
Is that what inspired you for the Wedding Cake lyrics then?
Well, I went through that tough time in my life at that moment, and then again, thanks for every situation that comes to you. Thanks for the good times, but also thanks for the bad times. Thanks for the pain. Thanks for the heartache, because it changes you inside. And you level up, and you realise how strong you are, how you can handle, human beings can handle anything at all. Anything. No matter where you are, you can handle it. Because the toughest people get the toughest lives. That's why the universe gives you all these situations. And if you're going through such a tough situation right now, believe that you're going to love that situation. You know, people that go through trauma, like traumatic experiences, if a psychologist or a doctor says to them, would you like to remove that from your memory? They say, no way, never want to remove it from their memory, because that's where they found out who they were, and that's how you find out what's inside you and the strength. And that's that. I look inside and I find this strength. I hear this voice saying to me, keep on going. Don't worry about it. Just take a next step forward, and that's it. Just in life, just take another step, and bang. The whole life is revealed.
Because you're writing these lyrics, and then you spoke earlier about overcoming fears and taking your power back.
Yep.
So you're not just writing the lyrics, you're performing them live, concerts, different things, but you also do motivational speaking. The Bad Guru live show. Can you talk me through that?
The Bad Guru live show, I talk through the 12 choices for life, and I also sing songs. And in the live shows, I bring people up, I bring guests. I'd done a concert there, I don't know, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And because I'd finished the album and I wanted to sing the songs, and all the people that I know are saying, when are you going to do a concert? When are we going to hear all these songs? And on a Tuesday, I run a speaking class, public speaking class. And I thought, right, we'll just do it. We'll cancel the public speaking class and we'll do the concert that night. And one of the reasons was because I wanted to show people the difference, the transformation you can have by mastering public speaking. And this is the reason I had to master the public speaking, because I wrote the programme. And there's a doctor I work with, Ahmed. And when I told him about the programme, because he was always asking me, what do you do every day, brother? Like, what is the practices you do to be this guy every day, to turn up like this? And loads of people were asking me, like, what do you do every day? Like, tell us, what's the secret? And I was sitting with young Paul. I said, what is it that we do every day? He's the exact same as me. And then we went to a class one time, and the guy taught us how to breathe. You know, the guy, Jim, for Vortex, taught us how to breathe into my stomach. And I started writing these practices down. But I had a fear of public speaking, and I'd been the best man 5 times, and I was so anxious, so nervous and shaking, and I brought props up just so that people would laugh and I wouldn't need to speak, and it was just something else. And he said, bro, you have to run a seminar. And this is where the live shows came. And I went up, I met Paul just after that, after I met him, and I said, I'm saying this about the programme. He said, you need to do it. He said, right, book it now. And we just set a date. And that was it. Set the date. And the night came, and it was the first time I'd ever intentionally chose to go up and speak publicly. And I took the mic, and I started a couple of choices, but I brought Ahmed, I brought Kenny from the Polar Bear Club. He wasn't even supposed to be there. Somebody had invited Kenny, and when he was there, he's a great speaker, and the Polar Bear Club's amazing. I've been up there loads of times. We bring him on events ways. And I spoke first. And I was still a bit nervous, but I was doing the practices and breathing and saying, turning anxiety into excitement. And then I gave the microphone to somebody else, and then I got it back. And after I got it back, then I was more confident. And then, so this is what I understand is repetition and pushing yourself in the face of fear. Then it makes you stronger, and you start to become more comfortable, and you let go of the fear. We've got a young girl, her name's Lacey Bow. And I'm friends with her dad and her mum and her brother. And she was really, really nervous. And she actually started April's dance school. And she was really nervous about going to high school. She started coming to a public speaking class. And when I'd done the concert just there, she came, I don't know, she's there all the time. She actually tells her mum and dad, you don't come, you just drop me off. This wee lassie just sitting there in the restaurant waiting when we go in. And she done a comedy set with this wee girl that was so terrified, so anxious to go to school and worrying about everything. She just breezed up. She took the microphone. She done a comedy set in front of all these people. So she done the comedy. I sang some songs and then talked, and then we got her back up. She done some more comedy. But it's unbelievable the difference that this makes in people's lives. It just transforms them. Everybody that's came. So you've came to it as well. You were at
I was just about to say that. It's so inspiring, because I came here Toastmasters with my friend Stephanie. Mm-hmm. But you also showed me that story. You showed me the wee girl up performing the comedy. Right. And then you told me a story as well. You says to her, these are the things that you don't tell people, so I'm going to. Right. You says to her, see when you go back to school and you see a young girl or a young boy that's not involved and are maybe not as popular. You because you're popular now, you be like the most popular because of your confidence in yourself. Bring them into your gang, make sure they get involved as well, and just that changes everything. Changes the mindset of the young kids that are in the cool gang. That we bring them in as well, because everybody needs to be involved, and there's nothing worse when you feel so lonely, especially as a kid. And as you know, sometimes in school it can be very cruel, bullying and that. They don't realise what they're doing, but that itself, because it's then going like a domino effect, and it's passing it on and passing it on and passing it on. So it's amazing. But moving on in the story, I think we had Rocky growling there. It's so fascinating, right? Because I'm thinking of all these things, and I'm thinking this guy does all this himself, right? He comes up with these ideas and then they just become reality. You've just released your comic book, Katie and the Bad Guru. You need to talk us all through that.
I met Katie a few years ago when after I'd done the first Bad Guru live show. Then loads of people came and they were asking, when are you going to do another show? When are you going to do another show? And there's a charity that I work with, the Golden Friendships charity down in Dalmuir. This guy, Jim. What was Jim's second name? Can't remember. Jim McLaren, such an amazing guy. He won Western Bartonshire Man of the Year, I'm sure. This guy was nominated, but I'm sure he won it. And we worked with Jim. He's an amazing guy. And I said, we'll run another Bad Guru live show and we'll do it for charity. He said, right, perfect. And we sold 200 tickets and 250 people turned up. Then after that, I met Katie's mum. I was in the cafe. I was in Dalmuir Cafe, my big mate Ryan's cafe. And I was in there and Katie's mum was in, and she was saying, I heard about you done this show. She's a politician. And she said to me, would you run an event and raise some money for the Carers Centre? And my sister-in-law that just passed away, she used to go to the Carers Centre. And Claire was saying, my daughter Katie goes. I said, aye, we'll do it. She said, would you come along? So I met Katie. Her daughter was there in the Carers Centre when I went along. And that was it. I only met her, sat, talked to her for maybe half an hour. And I had another shaman. I had a shaman from Chile that was staying with me at the time, guy Benjo. Me and Benjo were there and we were talking to her. Then I hadn't seen Claire or Katie or anything, and she was going for an operation. So she was in a hospital in Edinburgh getting an operation. And one day, I was up in Bearsden and I was at the fish shop, KP's fish shop, and I was leaving there and something just told me, go to the Bearsden Asda. But I'd moved from Bearsden by this time and I'd moved back down to another house. And I'm thinking, what do I need to go here for? But anyway, I went and I filled up my tank in the petrol station there, and something said to me to go inside. And when I walked inside, I never needed anything, and I just had this call to go inside. And when I'm walking along the middle aisle, I see Kate, Claire's mum and dad, and her mum said, my daughter's been asking for you all the time, asking when you're going to come and see her. I said, fine, I'll go and see her. And so I went there, and she was just out of hospital. Sat there with the family and talked to her and just seen the real strength in this wee girl. She'd just come out, she had the operation to put a metal rod in her spine, and she must have been in some amount of pain, but she cheered up and she's smiling because we came in to see her, and I could see the pain that was inside her. I seen this huge strength inside her. And then we left and I came up another time. I was doing a meditation one day and this vision came into my mind, and I seen me and her on the front of a comic book. And I went up to the house and I said to them, I was doing a meditation and I seen a vision of me and Katie on the front page of a comic book. And she started going mad in arms. Her mum and dad are saying, what do you mean? And I said, I don't know, I just seen it. And I thought, I would tell you because I seen it. And they were saying during COVID, they had the idea to make a comic book to start it. This is so crazy. The next day, I meet this guy, and I'm talking to him, and he'd helped. He used to come to the dinners. I cooked dinners on the first Sunday of the month for all the people in the team. And this guy came a few times, and he was helped organise. I think he helped organise the SWG free show he did. And I was saying, what are you up to? And he said, I'm looking for locations. said, for what? He said, oh, I've got a guy, Etienne, that's Netflix and Amazon and that. He rewrites comic books and they're based in Glasgow. And he was looking for locations for Netflix or one of these places, that one of these companies, they were going to start to film, so they were looking for locations. And I said, what does the guy do? And he said, writes comic books. I said, where's his office? He gave me the address. This thing, bang, bang, bang. I just turn up at the office. I speak to this guy. I said, how you doing, mate? I'm looking to do a comic. He's like, mate, I'm not really interested. I've not got any time. And he's going to close the door and I put my foot in. I said, do I give 10 minutes? And he's just looking at us. I said, 10 minutes, can I just explain something to you? He said, right, all right, 10 minutes. And the next thing I was in there for 2 hours. I told him about Katie and I told him about this story. And he just said, I can't knock this back. He said, I can't knock back this opportunity. And that was it. I got Katie and her mum down and we started telling the story, done a Kickstarter, done a video on Kickstarter, and people just paid the money instantly. And the comic started to get made and now it's ready. I speak to Katie and her mum and dad, and they're just going to release a date, so we'll put a date up, and it's Etienne's got a studio where he sells all the comic book merchandise. People come from everywhere and they buy the hoodies, they get the comic books, they get pictures with Etienne, the writer, the comic books. He's just releasing another one, it's Terror Squad, something he's doing a Kickstarter for it now. It's unbelievable, amazing, and so many people love comic books. Everybody, if I talk to anybody, I say about the comic book, they say, you get a comic book? And people you don't even realise, because I love reading them. I buy Etienne's comic books and I read through them, and it's just so powerful, good messages and that in them. And Etienne was actually just back from Rwanda, and he was writing a comic book there, and they were digging wells and that for people in Rwanda, different villages. And it's just amazing that we can be part of this contribution to push these good ideas and good things that people are doing for communities and for communities all over the world. Don't do unto others as you have them do unto you. Always try and help somebody rather than hinder them. If you turn up in a situation, well, you can make the situation better or you can make it worse. I don't make it better. Always. That's fine.
There's so much wisdom there in the way that you present yourself and the way that you speak. But for you to collaborate with the wonderful Katie on that comic book, it's so amazing, because when I was at Clydebank, I'm sure on 2 occasions at the cafe, what's the name of the cafe?
Damn Your Cafe.
Damn Your Cafe. We met Katie and her mum twice, and the joy in Katie's face when she sees you, it just lights up. And looking back at some of the videos and the work that you're going to be doing together. So big shout out to Katie and her family, and also for the release of the amazing comic book. I look forward to getting a copy myself.
Aye.
But moving on in the story, in fact, take me back into the Toastmasters then, right? Because this is quite comical. So I arrive at the Toastmasters in Clydebank with my friend Stephanie, and people are saying to me, oh, could be no bother to you. No bother to you, Jim. And I says, no, you don't understand. I says, all of my videos are recorded in the studio. I still struggle with public speaking. Even in the comedy, you know, in the theatre, in the stage. That was a bad fear to overcome. You know that feeling. So you're taking the power back. But it's comical because I'm sure I was one of the last up, and you stand up there and then you get everybody to come up individually and they say a wee piece about, I think that one was what they could bring to the Bad Guru Foundation. You know, like what role would be suited to you. So you brought me up. And I was that fear. There's about 40 people there maybe. And it's crazy. It doesn't matter if there's 10 or 1,000. I still have the same feeling. And I think, fuck sake, I need to do this. And I goes up and you told me what I was to say. And right away, I open up with, so. And then I start saying it and I make everybody laugh. No, they didn't laugh at my first joke. And I says to them, that was actually a joke. And they started laughing, right? So after it, I thought, oh, I done pretty good there. So I'm all jolly. I'm quite happy with my performance. And I sits back down. And they're all going, well done, well done. And then after it, you tell everybody how they performed. And he gets to me and he says, oh, there he is. The showman, always making everybody laugh. He's brilliant. Done amazing. So. And he just moved on. And I was like, and people were laughing because we use these words instead of a silence. And these are the things that we can learn in public speaking. Eye contact. It's so fascinating that the things that you teach people in there, because it changes everything in their life. People can't even speak to someone directly without looking away or changing their tone. But when you can speak in front of an audience, live, your head held high, and have those comfortable silences instead of trying to fill them in with the words. But it was comical because Stephanie was laughing. She's saying, look, you thought, and I says, no, I didn't say anything. But then again, after that, I started learning better. And it's not just me, it was everybody. You can see how much they evolve.
It's such a joy that I get. I do this, and there's a mental health charity that I work with every week, and it's Men Matters in Drumchapel. And when I first went into the class, I'm saying I'm going to teach the 12 choices for life. I did the 12 choices. Because I teach the public speaking class, and what the method for me is, okay, I'm giving them the 12 choices, but I want them to progress as well. And I get the people, and I'm standing at the front, and I'll say, right, come here a minute, get up, and then as soon as they get up, I'll sit down, and then they're up there, and just to bring them on. And at first, people, it's so daunting. It's such a different dynamic for just sitting here, and then bang, you have to stand up, and then everybody's looking at you. You're the focal point, and all the eyes are on you. And the progress that these guys go through, the process and how much progress they make just from that, and just getting them up. Because you see what it's like when the first time you go up, you're so scared, so much fear. And then you go down, and then everything's all right, and you watch everybody else. And the thing that we create, the environment that we create, is everybody claps. When you go up, everybody claps, well done. And then you say your piece, and then you come down and everybody claps, everybody supporting you and saying well done. And that's it. And when you learn in that environment and everybody's there supporting, nobody's there with judgment, nobody's there to laughing and that. Everybody's there just to well done, because everybody realises how tough it is. And when you do it, people are going, well done, brilliant. And in Men Matters, the progress in some of the guys is unbelievable. The guys came there and they're suicidal. These guys are working there and they give back. This is what I love. When you teach somebody a skill and they learn something and they level up in their life, they don't just bang, see you later. They want to give that to somebody else. That's the ethos. Do something for somebody else. That's choice number 5. Do something for someone else. Somebody teaches you a skill and you learn it. Pass on to somebody else. The whole world would change if everybody done this. Bang, the whole world's different. The whole world can change. Because you change the world that you live in by changing yourself. You can't change anybody else, but you can change yourself. And when you change yourself, the world that you experience changes. If you're full of doom and gloom and hate and judgment and anger, this is the story about the waggy-tailed dog. You want me to tell you the story?
Tell me that one.
There's a lady, and she's sitting eating her lunch, and she's looking at this window, and she sees this wee dog walking along the street. There's a red door across the road. The wee dog walks along, it sits down outside the door, barks. 2 minutes later, the door opens. Dog goes in, the door closes. A couple of minutes later, the dog comes back out. This wee dog's happy, like Rocky, licking everybody, laughing all the way up, and happy, dancing, tail wagging all the way up the street. And then the lady says, I wonder what's going on in there. And next thing, another wee dog walks along, sits outside the door, barks. 2 minutes later, the door opens. The dog goes in, the door closes. 5 minutes later, this dog comes out snarling, barking, biting people, going up the street. And the lady's thinking, what's going on in there? So she finishes her lunch, pays, walks across the road, she taps the door. 2 minutes later, door opens. She walks down, there's this corridor, door closes behind her. She gets to the end of the corridor, and there's 1,000 mirrors there. So the world you see is a reflection of who you are. If you turn up like a happy, waggy-tailed dog, there'll be another 1,000 happy, waggy-tailed dogs that you'll see and you'll experience, you'll interact with. But if you turn up like an angry, snarling dog wanting to bite everybody, then there'll be another 1,000 angry, snarling dogs that want to come and bite you. So it's how you turn up, and that's the life that you experience.
So powerful. Because I've heard many great quotes similar to these stories. Misery is always wanting a companion. No, and like we said earlier, you attract what you are. And somebody said that to me, I think it was after the first retreat we done. When I left there, I had this light. I always try and bring the sunshine, as you say. And when I spent time with my friend that day, she said to me, "You've done something to me." But we only just went a walk in nature and then went for tea. And then when I left, she was saying to me, "It's like you passed something on, because you have the light. You have and it's sort of do with how you are presenting yourself to the world, as you said." So it goes in with that story, with the 1,000 mirrors.
Yeah.
But people don't understand it. They need to live it, to feel it, and then to see it. But you need to believe in it first. And in believing in magic can be hard for people that have never had magic in their life. It's because they've never believed in it. We also have a story. This is fascinating, because I had an interaction with one of my mum's neighbours. And I used to see this wee guy. And when I parked the car, he was always working on his, he was like a wee mechanic, and he had a garage and stuff. One day I seen him, and he's like, "Jim, how you doing?" He says, "I've been watching your show." Right? And when people say that to me, I'm like, "Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. I'm glad you're enjoying the show, because it's evolving all the time." So he said to me, "I've been watching." And I says, "What's happening with you? How is everything?" He says, "Well, it's not been good." He says, "I've got stage 4 cancer." But you would never know, because he's so happy looking. And he's like, "So I just try and remain positive and stuff like that." So when he said that to me, I had your cards in a wee bit of the front of my car. So when I went in, I got my Bad Guru card. And I says, "This is my friend, the Bad Guru." I says, "Take his card." I says, "He helps people that struggle in life, you know, and they've maybe got different things like cancer and stuff, and it's affecting their brain, and it's affecting their mind the way they are." I says, "He teaches stuff about breathing and just being happy, and these things change. Everything about your mindset, your human body, everything changes." I says, "Take this card." And I don't know why. Usually it was my own card I would give him first. Right? But this day I never had any of my cards. I only had yours. And it's funny, because I gave him the card, right? And I says to him, "The Bad Guru always says, those who do not believe in magic will never find it." And then I left him. And it's about 2 days later, I was driving into my mum's, and he drove past me. But he never looked. But I seen him, and he had a wee girl in his car. And I always used to just see him myself. So I thought, must be someone, his niece or something. And anyway, so another day passed. Again, I parked the car, and I gets out of the car, and someone's shouting down the car park, "Jim, Jim." So I looks round, it's Larry. And he's saying to me, "You were right this whole time." So as he approaches me, I says, and it's like he had a coat hanger face. He had this big smile, and he was lit up like a wee kid. And he said to me, "The magic is real." He says, "You'll never guess what happened to me." I says, "What happened?" He says, "When you gave me that card, the next day," he says, "I gets a message from this wee girl telling me that she's my daughter." And I thought, and he says, and sure as hell, I think she's 18, maybe younger. He said, "I'd never met her before. Her mum had passed away, and she went searching for her dad, and I'm her dad. And now we've reunited, and that's who you seen me going by in the car with that day." And he says to me, "Thank you for giving me that." I says, "I never gave you anything." I says, "You believed in the magic, and the magic came to you." And it was so powerful. And then I seen him after it, and we've got a wee photograph in it, and I told him that I told you the story. And I says to him, "Do you mind us uploading the photograph for you, Larry, and your daughter? They'll sit and watch this episode, and you think of that." And then his message to me was, there's magic out there, so believe in it. Because when you believe, it comes to you.
The quote that I say, like, "Those who don't believe in magic will never find it," somebody wrote that in one of the cabins up the farm. So when people come, if you've wrote a message on the on the eaves.
That's right.
Aye, and everybody does it, and somebody wrote that message. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it.
And it's just so powerful.
Mm.
You know, that wee guy was down in the dumps, and then something so life-changing. He never had any family, had nobody. And now he's got his daughter, now he's moving back down southwhere. So again, these magical stories, and they just pass on and pass on. And as you said, why make a situation worse when you can make it better? And it's so simple. Because that goes back to all the stuff that I was having trouble with. Stuff that, like emotional ties. I would make the situation worse and not better. Because in my own mind, thinking that this is, no, I've lost something, but you never lose anything. It was never mine to start with. So the power in that alone. And I know you're a man of great quotes as well, but just sitting with you, having these interactions, it's very powerful.
You said earlier on, misery loves company. Think about it when you're there and you're in pain, and you want somebody else to experience the pain, so you say something hurtful to them because you're in pain. So you think, well, I want them to be in pain as well. Misery loves company. But there's another way that you can turn up. And the thing is, every day you can't help. Well, the tides go in and out, the seasons change, and so do your emotions that are inside you. And you're not in control of them. Some days I wake up and there's just something there and you're not feeling 100%, but this is the tides and the waves, peaks and troughs. But what you are in control of is how you turn up. You can bring the sunshine everywhere you go. Doesn't matter if you're having a tough day. Or do you want everybody else to have a tough day? No. Bring the sunshine. You just bring the sunshine in every situation you go into. Every situation you go into. Hey, shut up.
Rocky.
Hey, calm down. Lie down. Hey, lie down. And aye, it's the sunshine that you choose. You can bring the sunshine.
Rocky.
Shh. Lie down. Lie down. Good boy. You bring the sunshine, and that's all. That's all you can do. And that's what you can affect, and you can have an effect on every single person in your life. The thing is, you're there. What way are you going to be? Are you going to make everybody's life miserable because you're miserable? Or are you going to suck it up, make it better? And then in making it better, when you make that experience, that interaction better for somebody else, then when you see their smile, then they smile back and it reflects into you. And that's how you change it. You can change everything in life.
It's amazing because going around, even meeting strangers, as you said, when you bring the sunshine, because they're not used to people saying their name or being, if they're working with the public or whatever their job is, when you go into like an establishment and you greet them with a smile and you're positive energy and you're saying, say their name was Malcolm. You say, Malcolm, how are you? And nobody's asked them how he is that day. And then, as you said, you leave them feeling good, and then that passes on to everybody. I experienced this when I first started on this journey. Change, constantly changing. Change is hard, and it's painful, but there's nothing more painful than staying somewhere you don't belong. And it's such a great quote. But I know you've also done a lot of travelling recently as well. Around Scotland, you've many stories, Sikh warriors. Where have you been?
I travelled. Where did I go? The guru that gave me the name, the bad guru, he's an Indian guru for the Punjab, and he's the head of the Nihang, and these are Sikh warriors. They dress all in the blue, and they carry the swords and that with them. And he was over staying in London. The guys had said to me to come down, and I went down there and I met them in Birmingham. And the guru was heading back. He was going back to the Punjab, and just sat there with them and just chilled with them. And then he's coming back again next year, and he said they're going to come to Scotland again. So we'd like to come to the farm if we can come up there and stay there again. And then they're going to go around the Highlands. And on that trip, then I went to Stonehenge as well. And then from Stonehenge, I travelled up through Wales. Such a beautiful country. Wales is magical as well. And then Merlin, the magician, was from there. I went to the town where Merlin was from. I ended up meeting a lady, and she wants to stock the Bad Guru products. I was telling her about the shampoos, conditioner, and all the balms and the different products that we're making that's in the process. just now, and she was saying, "Oh, I want to stock these products that you've got." And she told me this is the way that Merlin, there's a Merlin's way. And she's just ladies, just people that you meet, and then they start to tell you another bit of information and try this place and go here and go there and go to these mountains and go to this forest. And I just love the magic. I just love going about the place and the people guiding me. Everybody you talk to, they'll recommend somewhere else to you. Where else did I end up? Up through there, and then in a place, Aberystwyth, and then all the way back up. And then I was in Ireland, travelled around the Antrim coast. The next place I'm going to go up, I've not done all the islands at the west coast of Scotland. So that'll be my next one, the next 2 weeks before it gets too cold. I'll drive in, me and Rocky, climb some mountains, get a laugh, meet some people. You always meet cool people as well.
I'd love to come along one of the adventures.
Nah.
I'm sure Rocky wouldn't mind. He's my wee pal now on the retreat. But this is it. So when you compare the stories you were telling in the first episode, and then you can see the way you are in this, the transformation doesn't lie, the energy doesn't lie. It's impossible. But for people to see that, so if you can change from that to what you are now, this guy comes with true wisdom and honour and respect. If you can go from that to that, then anybody can change. People, it doesn't matter where you are in your life. If you're going through hardship, if you've been in prison, you think you've lost everything. Because we all have different things, even myself, losing things. But when you fix the mind and you can see it for what it is, you realise that you were worried about nothing. You were creating your own trauma. And that's so powerful itself, because I'm still processing the fact that my life and my direction has now changed just by doing some of this work, the programme, the retreat. It's so powerful. But you also do so much in the community. I know you're doing like cooking the dinners and stuff like that for people. You're going to different things where they're growing food. There's food banks, but also on the Bad Guru land. Mm-hmm. I came to one of your events as well. It was for the children. It's so amazing because you've got animals on there, you've got bees, just everything about the Bad Guru world. Talk me through that, because that was so powerful. Because I brought my daughter and she loved it.
This isn't me. I don't take credit for these events. Lauren, April, and a couple other members of the team, they said, why don't we organise a fun day? Everybody's got children in that. And we brought all the kids up. It's a beautiful day. It was a beautiful weekend. And we brought a bouncy castle. And then all the kids are around feeding the ducks, feeding the chickens. And then they're seeing where we're growing in the orchard and the places where we grow. And then they're understanding about life and about cycles of life. And then they're getting to get eggs and that and take them away home. But they just have fun. And the most important thing is have fun. Let them go out and just in the wilderness. And have fun as children. Let them run about, fall down a hill, climb up a tree, fall off a tree. Who cares? Well, you get the scrapes and that, the discomfort, and then remember it's a wee whirlwind. Oh, remember when this happened to me. No, they remember, kids remember things like that. They don't remember the days where they were sitting in the house and they get loads of sweets and they got to watch a film, because that's most weekends. But they remember the days when they went out and they went up the farm and they were climbing here and the chickens chased them and they got to hold a chicken and they got to get a chicken's egg and took it home and ate it. Well, you teach them about the cycles of life and about nature. And then you see them at peace. Not a phone in sight, water guns, bouncy castles, chickens, ponds. Oh, that's it. And go back and take them to nature, socks and shoes off, walking about on the grass. Feeling the grass between their toes. Well, just feel alive. Be pulse. We're part of nature. We're not born into boxes. We were born originally into forests and caves, and we were part of nature. But we've been totally disconnected from it. And I think that's what fuels this mental health crisis that we've got. People lost the connection with spirit, lost the connection with who they are, the essence of who they are. They care about what they look like, what phone they've got, what car they've got, what watch they've got, their profile. Who gives a fuck, honestly?
But they don't care about what's inside.
No, that's it.
They don't
care
nurture
about
that.
What they do for people. They don't care about the interactions. Just everything's on phone and about. image, isn't it? Image is an ego. It's your ego that concerns with your image.
The materialistic thing.
That's it.
Because it's never going to make you happy, ever. It doesn't matter how much material stuff that you have. If you don't fix what's inside, then nothing in the outside will ever be enough.
Happiness comes from within. Comes from inside out. So with the scholars, Jesus, or the people, they say the kingdom of heaven is within. Or the Buddha, everybody. When it's in here and you radiate it, paradise is a place, is a mindset. Heaven's a mindset. I live in heaven every day. Get to have amazing interactions with people. I love this. Paradise every single day. Every day I wake up, I just say thank you, thank you, thank you. I get the opportunity to have another day in this place, have fun, have a laugh. And that's the option we all have. We all have the option to have fun. If you're not having fun, well, that's your creation, not anybody else's. Don't whine at anybody else. Make a change, do something different. And your life will transform. I've got a programme there, I get away for free. And you know, in life, the best things in life are free, and I guarantee every single person that's watching this, if you do this programme, I've got a guy, right, I've got a mate, he's a football agent, massive football agent, Martin Riley, does deals all over the world. I went to see Marty in his office one day, he works for Celtic, does deals for tons and tons of clubs, and I was in his office one day and he's telling me, because the football, the transfer windows going on, my son's a football agent, my mates are football agents, understand how stressful it is. I was sitting with Marty and he's in his office, this deal, that deal, that deal. I went, mate, come here, come off your chair. He's like, what? And I said, come off your chair, lie down on the flare. He's like, what are you talking about, mate? I said, get off your chair, come round here, lie down on the flare, get your feet up on this couch. He's like, what are you talking about, Paul? I said, just do it, humour me. For 2 minutes, we're mates, look, let me try this. He lied down, I said, close your eyes, put your finger on your belly button, hand on your chest, breathe. So got me to breathe into his stomach, instead into his chest. And he done it for 2 or 3 minutes. And I swear to God, it's a different guy that stood up. A couple of minutes, and he just said, mate, what did you do to me there? He said, I switched your breathing from breathing into your chest into your stomach. Now he's pals with loads of football players and everything, and he's saying, I was telling this guy, Neil Lennon's his mate, he's telling Lenny, and they're watching the podcast, and the difference in that, just from 2 or 3 minutes, it just transforms him. And then he just says, mate, I tell everybody this now. Oh, what's up, you calm down, look, do this programme, do this breathing exercise. It's so crazy, but that's the cause that he done that, and he sat down and he listened and he breathed, and then the effect is bang, calm. I see him now and I talk to him, say, how you doing, Marty? And he's just, brilliant, brother, excellent. He's just so calm, and it helps you deal with everything differently. Just transforms your mind, takes you through that negative feedback loop where you're stressed, take you into a positive feedback loop where you understand, right, no matter what happens, I'm going to be able to deal with it. Oh, don't get yourself up and down about issues, because what is a problem? It's something that you need to find a solution for. It's a puzzle. I make life every single day like a puzzle, like a game. I used to get stressed out and I used to go mad and get road rage. Now I treat driving as a game, and I look out for all the crazy drivers, and then when they pull out in front of us and I have to slam the brakes on, I go, well done. Well done. Give myself a pat in the back. I don't shout at the other driver, because I think this is the guy that's creating the game for me with the crazy drivers, and they're going all over the place, and then you're getting to play the game. Well, make sure that you're dealing with it, and that's it. Turn everything into a game, make it fun. And then you don't get angry. If you're having fun, you're not getting angry, are you?
And it's so mad, because when you talk about road rage, that kind of reveals what goes on in people's minds when they're in a protective shield. So they're in their own vehicle. So they'll shout and bawl and give you the finger and all these things. But if it was face to face like this, that wouldn't happen, because they feel like they've and they can project their anger that they've already got before that incident happened. Because I used to do it myself, but I'm the same. Maybe not as good as you, but I try not to react now, or I just smile and just wave. Because it is, you're projecting that, and you're using that as an excuse to be angry. And you see it in people. Who really wants to fight or something stupid that happens on a road?
True.
It's madness. But we spoke about April.
Right.
And how amazing April is in our dance school. And I'm sure April's going to come on and tell her story. I know I've said that twice now. That means you'll need to do it now, April. But you tapped on the girl Lauren.
Yep.
Lauren's story. Can you tell me a wee bit about that?
I met Lauren. I knew your Lauren since I was a young kid, probably about 12 or 13. And then Lauren went away, she got married. I think I've probably seen her maybe when she was 16 or 17 the last time. And then she just came back into my life there about a year ago. And she's a therapist. Lauren's a therapist. She's set up her own business. Her is Liberate
Wellbeing.
Liberate Wellbeing. This is her company. She organises, so she's such an amazing person organising. She's doing different things in the corporate world. She goes into different companies and works with the workforce. And she organises a lot of the events. She actually, when you're talking about people with illnesses, and there was a guy, after the last podcast, like, everybody, everywhere I go, people tap me on the shoulder. You, Paul, the bad guru? And I'm like, and they go, I've been doing your programme, this has happened, that's happened. Lauren organised this day. She said to me, will you lead a walk up the hills? I said, aye, fine. She organised it, put a poster up. April, everybody all came. Those people came, and I think it was 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning, everybody was meeting, and it was just at the Oaklepatrick Hills. There was a few people there I didn't know, and I was saying, you all right, mate? And the guy said, aye. And I said, are you here for this? He said, aye. I seen you on a podcast. I had to come and meet you. And this guy came and he said, a couple of people sent me your podcast. And when I was talking about my mate John that I worked with cancer, and then it was gone. This guy had cancer, he'd had this diagnosis. And he said to me, I know that you've got the answer for my issue. And I said, what do you want to know? He said, can you tell me this protocol that you talked about on the thing? I said, aye. Told him the protocol. Guy started the day fasting, doing all the different things, and he'd come to loads of events. And then he was going for a scan to see the extent of the cancer had spread further or no. We'll be able to give you the update on this next time, because I'll speak to him. I don't like to say the boy's name just because this is his private business. Hopefully next time I'll be able to give you another unbelievable story about somebody taking their health into their hands and making it their responsibility and transforming their life. And this guy said for a couple of years he was just ill, and he just said, mate, I was sick, I was dying. He said, I watched that podcast, came to see you, came to walk up the hill, socks and shoes off at the top. We walked all the way around, done the protocol, done the fasting, changed his diet to organic, start doing the meditation. He's doing the programme religiously. And the guy just says, mate, that's the best I've felt for years since he was young. He says, so much energy. And it's a mindset. Some people get this diagnosis and bang, it's the death sentence for them. And they believe, well, you've only got a year to live, you've only got this to live. You decide when you're going to allow yourself to go. Not anybody else, not a doctor. What do they know about your health? When people get a cancer diagnosis or any diagnosis of an autoimmune disease, I say to them, this is a blessing that you've got here. Some people just drop down dead. But you've got this diagnosis, you know there's a problem. And anybody that develops any of this, it's a lifestyle. It's an accumulation of bad habits, whatever you're doing in your life, and now you're here. But if you can create it, well, you can reverse it. Because you cause it. The cause, your bad lifestyle. The effect, cancer diagnosis, autoimmune disease. The cause, change your lifestyle, change your habits, change this. The effect, a healthy human being. That's it. It's the simplest thing. You can reverse anything that you've caused. So if you didn't have it and then you did get it, or you have got it, then you can put it back to the start again. But it's about effort. It's about taking the time. It's about loving yourself. Do you love yourself enough to reverse this process? Have you got enough discipline in your life to do this? And that's it. And do you want it enough? What are you willing to suffer for? Because what you get in life is what you're willing to suffer for. Look at you, this show that you've got. But I understand the whole process of suffering and still doing it religiously and keeping going. Just keep going and just being consistent in your life. Bang. Everybody, your dreams come true. If you decide this and you take steps towards it and you keep being disciplined, it might take you a while, but it comes true. You're living proof of this. I'm living proof of this. Oh, on the first day when I started change, think, right, I'm going to turn up different. I'm not going to do this. The results were in the instant. with the breathing, the results are instant. When you start first learning how to breathe, changes the whole physiology of your body. And you still got to turn up every day, and you've got to have these distractions and the temptations and everything else. But it's about your discipline, it's about you and what you're willing to suffer through the pain. And then when you change yourself, you're going through this right now, you had all these friends, this friend group. And then there's a gap then where you're no longer the person that you were, but you don't have this friend group that's there that's going to support you in the next stage, because you have to find them. You have to be in this no man's land alone, and you have to walk the path alone. And then all the rest comes to you. But that's with patience and discipline. And keep on stepping out your story. And that's that, taking action. Taking action's the most important. It's the only way you're going to change is if you take action. Different seeds grow into different plants. So planting the seed, the one that you want to grow, and then watering it, keep it going, checking on it, and bang, next time you reap what you sow.
I think that was one of the hardest parts of change, as you said, with a group of friends thing, you become lonely. It's a lonely road because you're walking that path of change, and people can either be inspired by it or they become negative to it. You know, and the people that get inspired, they will also change and do great things. But the people that show negativity towards it, those people will stay where they are. And it's such a powerful quote. But that was one of the main struggles that I had, was how lonely it became. As you said, that consistency, following what you believe in, no matter what people say or think, because they're going to judge you anyway, no matter what you do. So just keep on going, learning from all the mistakes. The best thing is the mistakes. They teach you and teach you and teach you. And the right people then show up. The right people come at the right time. You know, the people that are aligned with you, are the way you think, your mindset. You know, everything that you believe in life. If you're showing up and you're doing it for the greater good, and the greater good comes back to you, and then you come together. It's like us having this interaction. It would never have happened if I had never changed. You know, if I had stayed the same, then I wouldn't have got this far. You know, so the pain of change, but also the power of the result. It's all there to see. Look at you. This is what I mean. If I was to meet people today, they wouldn't believe the first episode. I would need to delete that out of their lives, because they're saying, surely no, this guy. But as I said, and I always say, that's the biggest transformation I've ever seen. But moving on in the story, again, you're involved in a new political party for the people, as they say. Is it run by a woman called Claire, is that right?
I'm not actually involved. I know Claire was part of your team. She's a friend. I met Claire at the Golden Friendships.
Right.
I'd known her family and known her when I was a wee guy, but I hadn't seen her for a long, long time. And somebody gave her a ticket to Golden Friendships, and when I was up talking, she was crying. She started crying because the things I was talking about was so pertinent to her life. And I worked with Claire for a while, and then somebody was saying to us, she's involved in a political party. She's the vice chair, political party. And I met her. I hadn't seen her for ages. And I was going into Men Matters to do a seminar in there. And she was coming out. And the guy who is the candidate, whatever, for the next to be what would they call it in Scotland? First Minister. First Minister. And this guy's the candidate for the Scottish Common Party. And I said, so what are you doing? Tell me. What makes you different for these other parties that say, we're going to do this and then do nothing? Well, the Labour, Conservatives, they tell people, we're going to change this, but nobody can change anything because they're controlled from above. I said, who controls you? Why are you doing this? And they said, I just want to do this for my community because people are the same. We're all the same. Everybody wants a safe, healthy environment for their family. Everyone wants access to school places. Everyone wants access to doctors, to parks, to clean areas for your family to go. And everybody wants the same thing, and he says, I just want to do the things for the people. I want to help the people. And what do the people need? I want to make sure that the people get what they need. And I said, who controls you? Well, who's the people above you? Because all these parties, I talk to politicians, and they say, oh, we're going to do this. And I say, why are you not doing that? Why are you not doing that? Oh, we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to say this. We're not allowed to say that. We can't do this. And I'm thinking, why would anybody vote for somebody that they're saying, oh, it's the party? Who is it that controls it? Who is it that says what you can do this? And basically, I think it's the same people, because nothing changes. I think it's time for a change. Time for change. Normal people to run it. Not be controlled by whoever. I don't know who controls these parties. But somebody does. And that's why I was asking this guy, who controls you? Who are you working for? He said, I work for the people. I do things in the community. I'm not controlled by anybody. I said, who's funding you? Who's doing this? He said, we pay for these flags and all that ourselves. And I thought, and this is at the time now. It's the time for change. The time when people are looking for something different, where they can, so like me and you, and I can say, right, what are you doing? What? And you can't say, oh no, it's my bosses, these guys are telling. I said, no mate, if you're going to do it, well, what are you doing about it? Because I work for anybody in the community. I love the community. I love Scotland, I love Dalmuir, I love Clydebank, I love the Scottish people, I love British people, I love everybody in the world. But if there's issues that have to do, we have to support the people in the community that's doing them. And then people in the community stand up and go join the Common Party. Normal people that's going to make a change, because that's where it comes from. There's people that really live it, and it's been affected by all these different policies that these groups bring in, all these ideologies that they promote in the schools and everything else. Oh, let normal people, common people. And I just thought, well, it's a good idea. I'll be voting. I've never voted before in my life, but I would vote the Common Party.
Never.
Because it's common people. But then you don't vote. Why do you not vote? Because you know it's nonsense. They tell you this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and it's just the same. Same. Nothing ever changes regardless of whether you vote blue party or the red party or the yellow party. It's all the same.
You're still controlled.
Aye, that's it. Conservatives or Labour or whatever it was, the SNP. They bring in this policies, and everybody I talk to, we don't want that. How are they bringing in? Bring in digital IDs. Nobody voted for digital IDs, but they just bring them in. Well, they just do whatever they want, and everybody's just got to swallow it, and there's nothing you can do. But if there's a common party and you know the people and there's nobody controlling them, you say, why is doing this? Well, I don't believe that will happen. Because if not being controlled from above, there's no other agenda that we don't know. You can ask the person, say, well, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? I just think it makes sense. And I think good luck to her. Good luck to anybody that's taking action. Well, they're not just sitting there and complaining, oh, these are rubbish. These people are taking action, they're doing something about it. I think more power to anybody that starts to take action and do something about what's going on in their own community. Because I love what's going on in my community. I've got amazing people like April, like Lauren, my son, all the boys that we hang about with, they organise events. We have stuff in the community. Jim McLaren organising things for the people, the local people. There's people like that in every single community. But they're isolated, and what the newspapers and what everything promotes is the division between people. Oh, you're different from me. I believe we should promote what unites us, what brings everybody together, because we are all brothers and sisters of Scotland, all brothers and sisters of humanity. If aliens came to this planet, they're not going to say, oh, he's a Catholic, he's a Proddy, he's a Muslim, he's this. They would say, this is the people of the earth. Well, who cares what everybody believes in? Who cares? Everybody each to their own. Everybody's allowed to believe their own thing. Why do you care about what somebody else believes? Why do you want to force what you believe onto somebody else? Accept it. Live and let live. But come together and do you know what I love? I love the diversity. I go to temples, Sikh temples, Buddhist temples, Catholic, Protestant churches, go anywhere, mosques, anywhere. Because everybody's all the same. You go to these places, you think, oh, that's them. It's us. We're all the same. Everybody's the same. We all want the same thing. We want an amazing place for our children to grow up, for our families. We want to be able to work. We want to be able to play in somewhere that's safe, in an environment where you're free, not controlled. No people watching everything you're doing as if you're a wee kid at school. And the teachers are looking at you. We're adults. We're human beings. We're supposed to be free. That's what I believe in. I believe in freedom.
It is, because it creates a divide. And that's what they're looking for. And a divide in everything, not just religion, football, whatever it is. You create a divide, and then that's you. The people will turn on each other. But instead of uniting.
You know what crazy thing? Well, my family's half and half. So half of my family, my dad's family, was all Protestants, and they were in the Orange Walk and the Masonics and in the army, and they would go to Ireland. And then my other family, they're Irish. It's an Irish family. And when I would go down to my granddad's, they lived in a place called Whitecrout, and it's predominantly Catholic. And when we were in there, I would go in and I would get called a Fenian bastard, and a Fenian bastard, a dirty pape, and a fucking smelly bead ratter. But that was in the house after my uncle's, because we would go in there, all the fucking bead ratters in there, the Fenian, a wee Fenian bastard. And then I would go outside and I would play out my granddad's back. I would climb through the hedge and I would play football with the people in the scheme. And we would play them. If we'd beat them, and I would start fighting with them. And when I would fight with them, then they would call me, "Hey, you fucking orange bastard, get the fuck, you fucking orange bastard." So I got called an orange bastard out the back when I was playing with the people in the scheme, and I would call it a Fenian bastard inside the house. But none of them words ever bothered me. Never, nothing at all. Because it was just, people just say it to get a reaction at you. And if you give them a reaction because they call you a name, well, what are you? Like, you can be controlled by words. Words are going to hurt you. When I've been hurt with sticks. Sticks and stones, they hurt you. And when I was a kid, they say sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Now the whole world shifted. I'm saying, oh, if you say this, oh, that's going to hurt me. Oh, I feel so hurt. It's you that puts the value on the words. You can call me any name you want. Call me anything. It doesn't matter to me, because I don't put any value on your words. I know who I am. Solid inside myself. No matter what you call me, any names you call me, I'll just laugh. I get people, in my birthday, I get people to roast me, because I think it's hilarious when people slag you. What is it that makes you react to that, your ego? Who cares about that?
And we can let that go, as you said, because most of your life is controlled by that.
Aye, that's it.
And then to let that go is so liberating. That's what brings the great wisdom to this very day. You can see Rocky's definitely getting his voice in this episode. But you're a man of, as I say, great wisdom and many quotes. If you could start giving us some of your famous quotes and maybe the meaning behind some of them for the people watching.
Some amazing quotes. One I actually just said when we were driving up in the car. My mate Big Will was having a conversation. And whatever the conversation, he was speaking to somebody and they were saying one thing and he was giving them facts and saying to them, giving them examples. And the person that he was talking to just didn't matter how many. And one amazing quote is, "One fact can silence 50 scholars." One fact can silence 50 scholars, 50 learned men. But one fool cannot be silenced by 50 facts. Because it doesn't matter how many facts you give them. That person's made their mind up. And no matter how many facts that you give them, if somebody's made their mind up, there's no even any point in engaging with them. Just say, well, I say when people, when I give them examples, say, tell me this, tell me that, how can you do this? And I start explaining, but what about this and what about that? And I just say, do you know what, you're right. You're right in this. And they're so shocked. I say, no, you're right. But you say, fine, you're right. We were up the farm one day and I was talking about something and this person said to me, no, this isn't right, that's not right. And I started to explain, and because a negative person has a problem for every solution, and a positive person has a solution for every problem. And it wouldn't have mattered how many solutions I'd gave this person, they would still have a problem with every single solution. So what's the point? Well, if somebody's having an open conversation like this, sound, have an open conversation, but see, as soon as they're stuck, I know this, I know that, just, okay, you're right. And that's that. Then, another one I love, because it was Ahmed said to me one time when I was doing stuff in the community and helping people and organising these classes and that, he said, brother, I love that you do this so humble, and the stuff that you do in the community. He said, because if a man does not stand for his people, He stands for nothing. I thought, I need to use that. It's just a cracker. It's unbelievable wisdom inside in it. And then about following your dreams, about taking action. Because when people say to me, look, tell me something just to do, and I just say, take action. Take action and follow your dreams. No heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams. Because every second of the search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity. And the reward for your work, it's not what you get, it's who you become. When you go through all these situations, it's not what you get a reward, it's who you become. And them situations you transform your whole life, transform your mind, your psyche, who you are. You become somebody different, you become somebody stronger, somebody that welcomes challenges. When I get a challenge, I think, yes. Because it's just that, something else. It's a puzzle for you to solve. I love learning, I love life every single day, and I love the tough experiences. Go and sit in tanks of ice for 15 minutes, chilling, and travel across the world and have these adventures. When Shaman calls me and goes, right, brother, make 2 weeks available, make 3 weeks available, head here, head there. I just think, yes, my next trip's across South America, Mexico, Peru, Brazil, and a couple of places. And the guy said, this is the next stage of your training, so we'll be ready and we'll go. So I'll have some more stories for you.
And some more adventures that I want to be involved in.
Aye.
You told me a story, and this gets so much power behind it, the meaning of this story. And it was your friend that told you, I'm sure, and it's to do with a guy, and he wakes up in an airport hangar. Can you tell us that from the start?
This is about respecting people in the position and in the place where they are. I had a conversation with somebody one time, and I gave them information that I could see, I could perceive in their life, and they were so angry that I gave them the information, that I could see this and they didn't want to accept this at the time. So I was talking to the shaman, this guy, Istran, and I said to him, brother, I had this experience, and I told him the discussion, and he said, I'll tell you a story. He says to me, there's this guy, and he wakes up, and he looks around, and he's in this aircraft hangar. Thousands of people in this aircraft hangar, but they're sleeping. Everybody's lying on a mat with a blanket. And he sits up and he looks around the place. He gets his phone out. He dials his friend and he says to his friend, mate, what happened last night? Where are you? He said, mate, I'm in the house. Where are you? He said, mate, I've just woke up in this aircraft hangar. He said, all right. He said, with who? He said, mate, there's thousands of people here. He's just looking about, and his mate said, what are the people doing? And he looks about and he says, they're sleeping. The guy says, shh, don't wake them up. Go on with your day. And I thought, wow, just because I see something and I can perceive this, it's not down to me to tell the person the information, it's me to respect them in their life. And when they're ready to get this information, when they're ready to wake up or see the issue or see the problem or see the issue inside themselves, well, that'll happen. It's not my job to go and start telling them what's right or what's wrong, because who am I to judge anybody's life, and what do I know about anybody's life? Hard enough living your own life, never mind trying to tell other people you should be doing this and you should be doing that.
It's so powerful because it doesn't just paint the picture. When you see something, as you said, you need to respect others as well. They might not see it and they want to continue on in their life. And who are we to judge that? But it's such a power. I know you also wrote an amazing poem. I don't want to put you too much on the spot. Are you able to read the poem to us?
Yes.
That would be great for the audience
This
watching.
is the poem is, I wrote it. No, the programme's called 12 Choices for Life. There's 12 simple choices to make. And then I started writing this poem, and it took me months and months to write. Because I was thinking, well, when I've written this programme, I'm thinking, what do I choose? What do I really choose in life? And so this is really a poem about who I am. Oh, everything about who I am and how I turn up. You want me? See?
It would be an honour to hear it.
The poem's called I Choose. I choose love unconditionally when hate is at my door. I choose the power to say no when everyone wants more. I choose to have adventure like Papillon and Huck. I choose to tell conformity, no thanks, now get to buck. I choose to live and love and laugh, no matter what the weather. I choose to walk the hills all day and sleep amongst the heather. I choose to tell my family I love them every day, to let them know that they are perfect in every single way. I choose to help a stranger in any way I can, embodying the virtues of a lion and a lamb. I choose to have forgiveness for anger aimed at me. Hate poisons haters inside out. With peace and love, you're free. I choose to tell the truth to fools, no matter what the cost. When we cannot fathom truth from lies, humanity is lost. I choose to be courageous and never live in doubt. Keep emotions balanced in my heart, to never scream and shout. I choose to share my love and joy with everyone around and harness sacred energy, going barefoot on the ground. I choose to show my gratitude for every kindness shown, to reap and savour harvests from every small seed sown. I choose freedom over fearfulness on the quest to free my dragon. The gold you reap from your adventures will fill wagon after wagon. I choose to never hold a grudge, no matter what the reason. Forgiveness gives you wings to fly through season after season. I choose to have the courage to always stand my ground, to accept and hear all secrets, but never speak a sound. I choose to share my kindness with everyone I meet, from children, friends and family to a beggar on the street. I choose to never judge someone without walking in their shoes. You can't, so don't. Now hold your tongue. Let compassion be your news. I choose empowerment over doubt, chest forward, shoulders back, impenetrable like the walls of Troy, when dread and fear attack. Choose life, choose health, choose living true, yourself at top your list. Choose doing good with all your heart, take walks into the mist. Beyond your comfort, you will find the person that you seek. Inside yourself, you will reveal the strong, the brave, the meek. I choose to have integrity when everyone tells lies. The truth shall set you free to be authentic, bold and wise. I choose to love the gift of life and everything it gives. For everybody dies, you see, but not everybody lives. I choose to give my all to life and love what comes my way, and I'll meet you here in paradise sometime, someplace, someday.
Amen to that. There's so much power in those words. I'm sure the audience will also feel that. It's been a great honour, as I always say, sitting with you in this beautiful studio. You bring so much power, wisdom. It's really inspirational. But before we finish up on this episode, if there's another message you could send out to the audience watching, now is the time.
Message. It's got to be take action. No, it's got to be, because it's the only thing that you're capable of in your life to make change. We have this programme, we'll give this programme out for free. We run events. Join the badguru.world, follow on Instagram, whatever, Facebook. Download the programme. We're giving this programme away for free, and the best things in life are free, and I guarantee you that this is one of the best. This will be the best thing you ever do for your life, is do this programme, because we have people teaching this programme, and training instructors, and we have people teaching this programme worldwide, and it doesn't matter what age, the demographic, what nationality people are, none of it matters. This programme works, and it works because people believe. Choice number 12, believe in yourself, and people take action. And that's it. If your life's going to change and you're in a situation right now that you don't want to be in, the only way that's going to change is if you take action and you do something different in your life. Different cause equals different effect. And I will act now. Now, I will act now. And that's it. I'm reading this book just now, and it's called The Greatest Salesman in the World. I'll give you a copy of this book. And scroll number 9 in this book, and it's about taking action. I will act now. Now is the time. I am the man. Today is the day. Bang. Take action. Today is the day. Take action today, and tomorrow will be a dream. That's it. Tomorrow will be a dream.
Great message, my friend. It's been an absolute powerful episode, as always. As I say, a great honour having you in the studio. I'm sure we'll see you again very soon. In fact, we will, because you will then be interviewing me and my own story. Stuff that I've never spoke about before. So that'll be very interesting for the audience watching. Tune in very soon. But thanks again, the Bad Guru. Shake my hand.
Jumbo.
Thank you very much. And I'll see you again very soon, my friend.
I remember coming home from Tuesday Cub Scout. My mom was sitting there, her eyes were red, rocking back and forth, gripping tear-drenched tissue. She told us boys, your uncle, hero's dead. We cried that night like someone pulled the hearts out. The pain and grief too much to even stand. She left next day on a bus back home to Ireland. We spent the week then eating meatballs from a can. To all my heroes, rest in peaceful. Thank you for the time you gave to me. Cherish all the memories we shared then. Piper played his tune and now you're free. You told us tales of heroes, thieves and monsters. In the cold back room we listened with wide eyes. Transported to your world of brave adventurers, where the hero saves the day and claim their prize. You taught me driving tractors, riding donkeys. You drove the car with no hands down the drive. With your big strong arms you sang and played the guitar, showing all the dead souls how to feel alive. To all my heroes, rest in peace, folks. Thank you for the time you gave to me. Cherish all the memories we shared then. Piper played his tune and now you're free. On a wild dark night you sailed into your ending. Oh, this is any ship on stormy seas. I see you with your missing tooth still smiling. A gale force storm to you was just a breeze. Now my uncle hero's gone but not forgotten. His loving lessons still dwell in this soul today. I feel his strength now when I strum this guitar. For my long lost hero.